Well, today on Bourbon Hunt, we're at Local Vine in Vinings, Georgia, just north of Atlanta. So let's go inside and see what kind of tasty bourbons and whiskeys they have. Okay, well let's walk down to the bourbon aisle here and see what they've got in tasty bourbons and American whiskeys. So, right past the cognac and Armagnac, we get right in to bourbon, where we're at the beginning of their bourbon aisle, and you can see how far back it goes. It is huge, and they have a huge selection of bourbon and American whiskeys. So let's get started. So first up, kind of alphabetically, we have the 1792, and they do have the single barrel. And of course, we've got a nice complement of Fiddler. And coming down here, Baker 7, can never go wrong with Baker 7. And that Angel's Envy Triple Oak. Isaac Bowman and Bowman Brothers, 13th Colony. And if you're a Blacken fan, they got a nice selection of Blacken. And look here, Benchmark and Buffalo Trace. You just can't go wrong with either one. Now, I'm a big fan of the Buffalo Trace, and at $34.99, I think it is a guaranteed buy. And a nice selection of the Benchmark. Down on the bottom row, we've got Ammunition, Bernheim, and Boone County. And if you're a Basil Hayden fan, they have a nice assortment of Basil Haydens, including their new toast. And look at that, Bardstown High Wheat, my favorite of the Bardstown lineup. Coming down, Blue Note, Bibb and Tucker. Now, a lot of people don't talk about Bibb and Tucker much, but that 10-year is actually an excellent bourbon whiskey. And we got the Breckenridge, Nelson Brothers, and Chattanooga Founders. You know how much I love the Chattanooga Founders. Good selection of Bullet. And down here on the bottom, a few I'm not familiar with. This Wasmans and Charbet, Brothers Bond, Chicken Cock, and the Cream of Kentucky. Now, it says the small batch, but I also know they've got the cask strength as well. And I go on and on about this Castle and Key, don't I? The wheated cask strength, $49.99. A must if you're a wheated bourbon fan. And we've got Kenton Creek, some Doc Swinsons, and of course some Dark Arts, the white port wine cask that I've not tried before, and the Amberana Oak Staves. And coming down, we've got our Elijah Craig and Frey Ranch for you Frey Ranch fans. And now we're on to the George Dickel, and get down to our Evan Williams, the Bottled and Bond, and their Black Label. And on the bottom here, Davies County, Ezra Brooks, Old Ezra 7, which I'm a fan of, and Early Times, $24.99. Probably one of the best values in bourbon. and then of course their whiskey. And everyone's talking about this Boar, this new blend of straight whiskeys from High West. They've got it here, along with a lot of other of High Wests. And Hill Rock, Four Roses. And now on to the Jim Beam, the white label, and of course my favorite is the Jim Beam Black, aged 7 years. Green River, can't go wrong with Green River. And Heaven Hill on the bottom. And Heaven Hill is not a bottom shelf bourbon. Don't forget to look down here, because that's one of the best values in bottled bonds is that Heaven Hill. And Flatboat. And if you're a fan of red corn mash bourbon, you really need to try the Jimmy Red. Of course, we've got our Jack Daniel's single barrel, both in regular strength and barrel proof. Gentleman Jack. And coming down, our regular complement of Jack Daniel's, including the McLaren, Old Number 7. A Hidden Barn straight bourbon whiskey. I am not familiar with this one. I've seen it a few places. It's a small batch. It is 110 proof. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. It's a tall bottle. We got our Jefferson's Reserve and Jefferson's Ocean, and that Pritchard Hill, which is a limited release, I believe. Down here are Kings County, Johnny Dram. One of my favorites from James E. Pepper, their Decanter Batch Proof Series. They're 1776. And Hotel Tango, which I understand is a veteran-owned company. Ben Holiday, can't go wrong with that. Noble, well, that's from Mike Rowe, isn't it? And here you go, Joseph Magnus. Now, it's not their cigar cut. I think this is the one in the Oloroso Sherry, but that is good whiskey, along with their Murray Hill Club and New Riff. I've yet to not like anything from New Riff. Milliman Green. And for you Maker's Marks fans, we got the cask strength, which you cannot go wrong with. The 46, if you're a French oak fan. And of course, Knob Creek, a nice selection of Knob Creek. And our Larceny, both the barrel proof and the small batch. And more Maker's Mark. And Noble Oak. They actually make a very well done double oak bourbon whiskey. And it's affordable, under $39. Leopold Brothers. Lone Hand. I'm not familiar with Lone Hand, but they are a Tennessee sour mash whiskey. Laws, and look at the McKenna. Plenty of McKenna, and $69.97. That's a good price. And Mellow Corn. If you just want straight corn whiskey, that's it. That's your pick right there. Holy cow, look at all the mixers. They're bourbon, sour mash, American whiskey, and straight rye. I actually like their American whiskey. I didn't think I would, but I do. And Rowan's Creek and Noah's Mills. Really an underdog in the bourbon world. I haven't tasted either one of them, but I have a friend that likes both of them. Old Dominic. Never can go wrong with anything Old Forester. I mean anything Old Forester. I even like the Old Forester 100. $24. Down here, we got some Smooth Ambler and Old Fourth. You know, Old Fourth is owned by Short Barrel. Old Soul, Nashville Barrel. An Old Granddad just sitting out here. And Paul Sutton. I actually hear the Paul Sutton's pretty good. I need to get me a bottle, or I need to get someone to send me a sample, right? And here we go, you Penelope fans. We got the Regular Penelope, the Architect, Rosé, Cast Finish, Barrel Strength, and Toasted. Big fan of the Toasted. And the Pinhook Vertical Series, I've not tried the 9, I have the 8, and it's very good. And of course, I'm a big fan of Redwood Empire. I don't see the 101 here, so ask about it, but the 101 and the Screaming Titan is my favorite Redwood Empire. Stellum, Rebel. And look here. I have people ask me all the time, do you know where I can find the Penelope Straight Wheated Bourbon Whiskey? $40. I might have to leave with one of those. And of course, I always kind of go by the rabbit hole, but the Cave Hill 4-grain, one of my favorite 4-grain whiskeys. Coming down here, Redemption. I'm not a big fan of Redemption except for when it comes to their wheated bourbon. I love their wheated bourbon. And here's a new one. What is this? Batch number 1. Not familiar with that one. Sazerac Rye. Rittenhouse. Sable we've talked about before. There's Pursuit United. Pendleton. And here's a bunch of ones that I am not familiar with. Rocktown, Arkansas Rye Whiskey, and Short Barrel. I like their rye, but I am a big fan of their Toasted, and for $60, one of the best toasted bourbons on the market at that price. And here we go, Uncle Nearest. I'm a fan of the 1884. Not really tried any of the other ones yet. Stranahan's. And for a long time, Smoke Wagon was hard to get. They've got a nice selection of Smoke Wagon. Going down here, Rare Breed. And everyone asks me, where can I find the Wild Turkey, the new Wild Turkey 101 8-year? And it's $49.99. We're going Russell's. Can't go wrong with Russell's. Standard 101. Big 101. Down here to the 3-chord. And you know that this Backstage series, this blended straight bourbon whiskey finished in toasted peachwood, it might surprise you. It's $49.99. Traverse City. We've got some Travo down here on the bottom and Tin Cup. And Very Old Barton. And although I'm not a big rye guy, they do have the Whistle Pig 10 and 12 for those that are hunting ryes. Willet, their rye whiskey. We've got a nice selection of Woodford Reserve. And my favorite, current favorite Whistle Pig, the Snout of Tail. Snout to Tail. I always get that wrong. More Woodford, including their Double Oak, which is a store pick Double Oak. And now we're into our Wilderness Trail and Woodinville, Widow Jane. They've actually sold out of the Baby Jane. You know, I liked it. I just didn't think it was, I think it got more press than it deserved, but somebody's buying it. And some different whiskeys, blended whiskeys, and oh my God, we're in the Canadian. So let's look at what's on the end caps. We got our High West again. More Angel's Envy. And some peanut butter whiskey. Oh yeah. And right when you come in the store, you're going to see their store picks. So let's check them out. Well, looky what I found first. An ASW Fiddler Heartwood, a store pick. And you get 10 times the reward points. I own several bottles of this Fiddler Georgia Heartwood. It's one of the best heavy char bourbons that I own. If you like a good char, you want to try this Fiddler Georgia Heartwood. And we have an Old Elk store pick. You don't see Old Elk store picks very much. This is an 8-year, $84.99. Also gets you 10 times the points. And what's it say? It's just an 8-year. This is their bourbon, not their wheated bourbon. Single barrel. Interesting. And then over here we got a store pick of the Rebel Foolproof. $54.99. Also 10 times the reward points. And let's see what the proof is on this bad boy. Let's see here. Let me find it. Oh, it's right there if I only look. 120. This is a foolproof, so that must be their entry proof. 120. Nice. And we got a Woodinville store pick. This is a single barrel, a rye single barrel, and it's on sale. And Ezra Brooks foolproof, probably the same thing. Yeah, 120 bourbon whiskey. Gives you the barrel number. And I don't see an age statement here, but it tells you when the barrel was filled. Okay, so that is an age statement, isn't it? So this is about 6 years old. Nice. And coming around over here, we've got a Knob Creek single barrel, which is typically 120 proof, and it's $64.99. Then there's that Woodford Double Oak single barrel again, $69.99. And that Doc Swinson's Samba, which I think this is the same one we saw earlier. Yeah, this is that rye finished in rum and Brazilian Amburana casks. Nice. Dark Arts in the wine port finish, $104.99. And the Pinhook Vertical Series. I've got the 8. I've never tried the 9. Single barrel. This is a 2024 release. 115.6 proof. You get 10 times the points, and it is $89.99. Last but not least, for you Elijah Craig fans, they have a private barrel. And let's see what this private barrel. Woo! 9-year-old, 123, is that? Yeah, 123.7 proof. Uncut, straight from the barrel. And it is $89.99. And if you're into cigars, guess what? They've got a humidor right to the left of all your bourbons and whiskeys. Okay guys, make sure before you leave, check in over at the tasting bar. They may have a bourbon or whiskey that you've been hunting, and guess what? You can try it before you buy it. So if they don't have it out, ask somebody, go seek out somebody and say, hey, can I have something? Can I taste something? What do you have?